Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the Yakim that's pushing this truth at the four corners of the earth and our truth is sincerity and in diligence. And I just want to touch on this topic, dealing with, the Jew, Greek, and Gentile type deal, So, I'll start right here. This is Romans 1 and 16. It says, and this is what, this is why it's confusion, amongst the, Israelite men. And when I say Israelite men, I'm calling them Israelites because that's the true nationality. And I'm going to say the Christian church. The Christian church, people who are Israelites that's trying to save the other nations and not understanding the true, breakdown of the Bible, man. Not understanding the narrative of the Bible. All right. So, and that's why when they read like things like what we're about to read, like see right there, this is where it says that heathens can be you know amongst the nation of Israel, right? This is where they use these scriptures like this to make a pass to say, you see, the Lord is dealing with the other nations. Other nations can obtain salvation. So we just gonna get into it, and Lord willing, it'll be some edification. This is Romans 1 and 16. It says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation, right? To everyone that believe, the Jew first, and also to the Greek." Okay, so they'll read that, like, see, to the Jew first. All right, yeah, the Jew, but then it says the Greeks. Not first of all, not understanding history. All right, because the you got to go back to the Greek Empire, right? During the Hellenization period. Okay, and they never question like, well, why does it say Greek? See, Greek is not a nationality. Greek is a way of life. Okay, but it says to the Jew first and the Greek. Now you had the Jews, which were the circumcision, that kept the customs, that kept the traditions, of being an Israelite. Okay, but you had Israelite foreigners, right? Who the Jews looked at like the ones of the circumcision, right? That kept the customs, that looked at, other Israelites, as, beneath them, like they ain't Israelites, like they, is just heathens. Okay. You see? But it says to the Jew first and also to the Greek. So let's just get some edification, on that. All right. So we're going to go into that word Greek, right? And what it says Helen, right? Helen, okay? Because you had Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, and you had Israelites, which would be Hellenistes, that knew that they were Israelites but adopted the Greek tongue, you know, and things of that nature. You had Israelites that didn't know they was Israelites and adopted the customs of heathens. Okay, and that's what Yahweh Shah was talking about when he says, "I have." Matter of fact, real quick, I'll just get to it. Sheep fold. This is. It has to be in John. Hey man, this is. Where is that? This is John. Oh man, no. Salaki, sheep, not fold. Oh, okay, yeah, it was in John 10 and 16. It says, "And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd." Right? So, you had the circumcision that knew that they were Israelites, that kept the customs, and you had Israelite foreigners, right? You see, and but that's why he said, "I have sheep that are not of this fold. I also must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold." Right? Like it speaks about in Ezekiel 37, I believe. Anyway, let's go back to that Romans. Romans, all right. So you go into that word Greek, right, which means Helen, right. So when we go down to the outline of biblical usage, it says a Greek either by nationality, you know, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. In a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, that made the language, customs, and their learning of Greeks their own, in primary reference to the difference of religion and worship. See, but that's so you have to take out, take off the meat, off the bones to understand. There's certain things that you got to take the meat off the bones, right? So look, watch this. It says a Hellen, a Grecian. Pay attention to this. A Grecian, right, or inhabitant of Hellas, by extension of Greek-speaking persons, especially a non-Jew, Gentile Greek. Now, this right here, let's deal with this. It says, it, by extension, I mean addition. A Greek-speaking person, especially a non-Jew. That's not true, because check this out. Let's go to Acts, right? Because the Israelites were called Grecians, right? See that when you did like Greeks are the Grecians, right? Israelites were called Grecians, and we're about to prove that. This is Acts 6:1. It says, "In those days, of the when the number of the disciples were multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews." Now they were like, see, they were like Grecians, but you got to go into words because their widows were neglected in the daily administration. Now, check this out. Now let's go into matter of fact, we're just gonna go into that word right now, right? Let me just see what it says in the NLT. Oh, look. But as believers rapidly multiplied, there were rumblings about discontent. The Greek speaking believers complained about the Hebrew speaking believers. All right, Greek speaking believers. Why would it say Greek speaking believers? But let's go into that word Grecians, right? Hellenisti, right? And what it says a Hellenist, one who imitates the manner and custom or worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue, used in the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. A Hellenist, right? Or Greek speaking Jew, a Grecian. You see? So you had Israelites that were called Grecians. They took on they were born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. Okay? You see? And that's why, the circumcision, the Jews, they looked down upon them, right? They looked down upon them, and they had a problem with them. That's why they had a big problem with Yahushua. Yahushua was telling them, like, look, man, I got sheep that is not of this fold, okay, which are Israelite foreigners, man. Okay? So you had matter of fact, you had Greek speaking Israelites, and it was calling these Israelites Grecians. Okay? Let me see something. Um, let's go to. Well, I don't have that. Dang on my computer, but we're gonna go to Acts. Let's go to Acts 11. It says, "And apostles and the brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of the Most High." All right. Remember when when we were looking at Grecian, it says Greek Gentile, right? All right. So look, the Gentiles, right, means ethnos here, right? Ethnos. Okay. means what? A multitude, whether of men or of beasts, associating or living together. A company, troop, swarm. A multitude of individuals of the same nature and genes, right? Of the same nature and genes. Okay? So you got to understand there's also two type of Gentiles. When you see the word Gentiles, you can't just say that, oh, that means the other nations. All right, you have to go in the words. But it says, look, a multitude of individuals of the same nature and genes. And you have to understand the narrative of the Bible, who was, the Bible always talking about. You had the Israelites that would go into captivity, right? And they would call on the name of the Lord, right? And they, because first and foremost, you must understand this. Let's get this. I hope this is making sense. You got to understand this. This is what happened to the nation of Israel. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And I and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So we were going to be scattered across the four corners of the earth, man. All right, and we were scattered amongst, these different nations. Okay, so when it says Greek, these Israelites, right? These Israelites, right? Who imitated the man, who one who imitates the manner and customs of or the worship of the Greeks and use Greek tongue, used in the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands speaking Greek. So they were born in foreign lands, man. Okay, speaking Greek. Okay, so going back to Acts 11, that word Gentiles, right? And I'm gonna get back to what I was going to, but since we read about the word Gentiles, it says ethnos, right? Let's see, get to that. It says that word ethnos, okay? And Christians believe when you see ethnos, right? They see Gentiles, it's talking about the other nations. Gentiles, that's a universal word, right? Because it means it's spelled the same, but it has two meanings to it. Now look, I got the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, and this is the definition for Gentiles. Okay, it says usually, that's a key word right there. Usually it means a non-Israelite people. Usually, all right. So if somebody, like, let's deal with that word usually. If somebody say, hey, he usually get off the work at 6 o'clock, which means there's room to say that he usually do, but sometimes he don't. Okay, so the word Gentile is usually meaning a non-Israelite, people. Okay, so and we can, matter of fact, we can go to First Esdras 8. First Esdras 8 and is it First Esdras 8? First Esdras 8 and maybe it's not First Esdras 8. Maybe it is First Maccabees 8. And oh no. So it got to be First Esdras um 8, and I'm probably overlooking this, so let me slow down. There it is. This is First Maccabees 8 and 69. The nation of Israel, right? The princes and priests and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollution of the Gentiles to wit. So, and they start to name some Gentiles: Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Pharisees, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites, which are Gentiles. Okay, well, actual Gentiles. See, because usually it means of non-Israelite people. Okay, but it says usually means there's room for to say, but it also can mean what? uh, Israelites, right? Well, how is so? Well, let's get it. See, because that word, when you go into that word Gentile, right? Oh man, Gentile, like right, is ethnos. Okay, so that's what that word Gentiles mean, right? You go into the word ethnos. So let's go to John 11. This goes to show you that you have two type of Gentiles. And when you see that word Gentile, it don't always mean the heathens, right? So look, John 11 and 40. Okay, 49. And one of them named uh, named Cephas. Cephas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Being the high priest the same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that whole nation perish not. So, what nation was he talking about? He was talking about the nation of Israel. Now, when you go into that word nation, right, it means ethnos, but he was talking about the nation of Israel. You see? So you can't just look at the word Gentile and this means heathens. No, all right. It also can mean Israelites, man. When it's talking about you know Gentiles, okay. You see, so you can't you gotta go into words, man. Okay. See, look, it says, and look what it says: a multitude, whether of men or beasts, associating with or living together, a company, troops, one, a multitude of individuals of the same nature and genes, and it happened to be that it's talking about the nation of Israel. Okay. So when we go back to Acts 11, it says, and the apostles and the brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles, talking about the nation of Israel, Israelite foreigners, had also received the word of the Most High, man. Okay? Because look, hey, this word was only preached to the nation of Israel, man. Okay? Because we were scattered, we were going to look like the other nations, take up on their customs, all of that, you know, all of that. So the word of the Lord was being preached to Israelite foreigners, man. So look, let's go down here. I believe it's Acts 11 and let's see. Oh, look, check this out. Acts 11 and 19. Now, when they were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen, so like now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenix and Cyprus, and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only, right? And some of them were men of Cyprus, right? Some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, right? Which, when they would come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians, right? Preaching the word of the Lord. Now let's see. I didn't go in. I wish I could had a Google translator for the Texas Receptors just to see what it says. I want to see. The Greeks. See the Greeks. Called hey look, called the Grecians the Greeks, right? There were also men from Cyprus and Cyrene who entered Antioch, spoke to the Greeks, proclaiming the Lord Yahweh Shai. Now let's go into that word Grecian. Helleniste, right? Hellenist, right? One who imitates the manner, customs, or the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue. Used in the New Testament for Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. Okay? Grecian Jews, right? Speaking Greek, Grecian Jews. So when it's talking about the Greeks, it's not talking about, you so called white people or any other nation. Okay, it's talking about Israelites, you know, Greek speaking Israelites. You see, that's what it's talking about. All right, and also, right, because you had Israelites when you check out what that is, First Maccabees 4, right? This is First Maccabees 4 and give me a second. First Maccabees 4, or maybe it's Second Maccabees. Let's try Second Maccabees 4. Second Maccabees 4. Second Maccabees. There it is. This is Second Maccabees 4 and 7. Now, after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus, called Epiphanes, took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest. So he did wickedness, bro. He did wickedness to get that position, promising unto the king by intercession 300 and threescore talents of silver, and of another revenue 80 talents. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of the youth in the fashion of the heathens, right? You got see, and you have to understand, you have to go back and get, and read this history to understand what happened to us as a nation, right? What happened to us as a people, okay? Talking about, the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because the northern kingdom, during the Assyrian Empire, they left and came to the Americas. Okay, so it says, train up the youth in the fashions of the heathens to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. See, it was calling themselves Antiochians, which when the king had granted, he gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion. Okay, that's what I'm saying. See, and that's why you had Israelites that that didn't know that they were Israelites, right? You see, it's training up the youth, right? You had Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, that was calling themselves after the lands that they were in. They was calling themselves Greeks. They was calling themselves everything but Israelites. Okay, and the royal privileges granted so, like, in the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amnesty and aid, he took away. And putting down he was wicked as hell. And putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law. All right. And you have that same thing happening today. Okay. New customs against the law. All right. Uh, For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat. You see that happening today too. Now such was the height of the Greek fashion, because you see guys prophesying with hats on their head, man. Come on, man. The scriptures don't miss. And the increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest, that the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar, right? But despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers in unlawful allowance in the place of exercise, after the game of discus from called them forth. All right, not settling by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. See, now when you see that right there, that's talking about the actual Grecians. Okay, so you have to understand. The spirit have to be with you. If you can't get it, then that's just because the Lord, he blinded you. So tapping into that, because Christians like to bring this out, Galatians 3. And look, it says, "Oh foolish Galatians," right? Who had to be with you, right? And Galat, I think it said like Galatia, that's a real place. Okay, they were calling themselves after the lands that they were in. But they like to bring this out. There's neither Jew, Galatians 3 and 28, there's neither Jew nor Greek, right? So why does it say, Jew nor Greek? Why does that has to mean, you know, so-called white people? And I'm going to say it like that because they only advocate when people come up or when people want to leave comments, they only advocating for so-called white people. They don't say nothing about any other nation, no Asian, no so-called African, no Arabian, no nothing. They just always say so-called white men. All right, there's neither Jew nor Greek. Now, let's just go into that word. All right, let's see what they say. Because they say we're all in one. It's neither Jew nor Greek. No, yeah, listen, you got to go in the word. See, Helen, Helen. There you go again. That says what? You gotta see, you gotta take the meat from the bones, man. In a wider sense, the name embraces all nationalities, not Jews that made the land. No, because you see how Jews did make the Greeks their customs, right? The Greek fashion their customs. And they go here. Helen, Grecians, right? Grecians. And we just went into that word Grecians. Is Jews that adopted the Greek tongue. Okay? So that's what it was about because you had the circumcision, right? Was the Jews that kept the customs, right? That kept the customs that was looking down on the uncircumcision. Okay? Let's see if I can. That's in Acts 13. Let's go to Acts 13, I believe. That's where it is at. Acts 13 and because look, this is what it was. This was the problem that they had right here. This is Acts 13 and no, it's one that says in Paul and Barnabas. Paul and Barnabas they got pissed off. See, Paul and Barnabas. Oh man. Oh yeah. See 46. It says, and then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said it was necessary that the word of the Most High should have first been spoken to you, right? But seeing ye put it from you and judge yourselves unworthy for of everlasting life, we turn to the Gentiles. All right, but we know that every time you see the word Gentiles, it doesn't mean the other nations. All right, so you got to understand the narrative of the Bible. Okay, he told us, hey, oh man, what is this? Okay, he told us that that go not into the way of the Gentiles, right? But only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay, let me see. We'll turn to the Gentiles. Let's see what that word Gentiles say right there. It's all ethnos. All right. Let me see. Be a light unto the Gentiles, right? What did that say? Ethnos too? Yep. Ethnos, right? Talking about Israelite foreigners. Okay. Let me see. Give me a second. Cause I was going into something. What is what that was? Give me a second. All right. Well, yeah. So, command to be a light unto the Gentiles. All right, and that's talking about the Israelite foreigners, man. set to be a light to the Gentiles. And you had, matter of fact, let me see what that says in the NLT. It says Gentiles. Let's see what it says. Let's check the. How about this? Let's go to the Texas Receptors. To the nations. All right. So we went into that. We know that it's not always talking about, you know, uh, the other nations. And then when you check out Galatians, right? Galatians 4:4. It says, "But when the fullness of the time was come, the Most High sent his Son, made of a woman under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoptions of sons." Okay? So who was the laws given to? The nation of Israel. 1 Corinthians, right? 1 Corinthians 12. 1 Corinthians 12, it says 12:2. Ye know that well, I'm gonna start at 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, right? According to the flesh, who are Israelites, and when you read Romans 9, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols. Well, you were Gentiles, like moving like what heathens. Okay, ye were Gentiles. Okay, moving like heathens. Okay. You see? So it was another one I wanted to go into. I can't remember where it was at. Man, let's see. Well, I did go. Let's go. Let's go to. Let's go back to Acts 6. All right. Let's go back to 6:1. Right. Talking about the Grecians. We'll go into that again. So it says the Grecians, right? Okay, yeah, we went into that. So we'll go to that's what I'm talking about. Acts 16. All right, Acts 16:1, right? This is Acts 16:1. Then he came to Derbe in Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman who was a Jewish. Now, this woman knew of the customs. She knew of the customs that she could not be dealing with, no heathen nation, right? No other, no nation outside of, the nation of Israel. But his father was a Greek. And so you get Christians who like to say that Timothy was a Greek, man. All right, let's see what it says. Was a Greek. All right, well, let's go see what the Texas Receptor says. Translate to, well, it says Greek. All right, so let's just go into it then. Word Greek. All right, Helen. Oh, you see? Helen. And we know that. We know that we went into it. A Grecian, right? He didn't want no parts. He like, and it say he was a Helen, right? So he didn't know he was an Israelite, man. Okay, he didn't know he was an Israelite. Okay, he didn't want no parts of it. Let me see. We look in the Zondervan Combat Dictionary, right? Let's look up that word, Helen, in the Zondervan Compact. It's a Hellenist, right? Jews who made Greek their tongue. This is in the compact. This is in the Hellenist, right? It says Jews, and that's the root word Hellen of Hellenist. Okay, Jews who made Greek their tongue and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices. Okay, okay. So he was just calling himself a Greek, you know? And you got to understand why. You got to go back to the Maccabees, right? Let's just read a little bit what happened to our people. This is Second Maccabees 6:6. It says, for the temple was, I'm going to start at 4. It says, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles who dilated, no, not dilated, dawded, who dawded with harlots and had to do with women within the circus of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. So they was, being real, profane in the temple. The altar was also filled with profane things which the law forbidden. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Okay? You had women that was put to death for circumcising their children. Okay? So, you know, when it says, just going back to the topic, when it says neither Jew or Greek, it was first, to the Jew and then to the Greek. Those Greeks are talking about Israelite foreigners. All right. You see, the scripture says that he's not dealt so with any other nation. Okay. Um, what that is in Psalms 147. This is Psalms 147 and 20. Well, 19, it says, he sheweth his word unto Jacob and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. See this. Oh, man. Look at the NLT. He has not done this for any other nation. They do not know his regulations. Okay? And the Lord says he come in the volume of the book. Okay? And Hebrews 3, I believe in 8. Oh, no. Well, no, I thought it was Hebrews 3 and 8. Let's see. I know when it says I change not, right? This is Malachi 3 and 6. It says, oh, see, that's what I was thinking. This is Malachi 3 and 6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. All right? He changed not. We're not consumed with these what? These false doctrines, these different ideologies, this false window of the Lord opening up his covenant unto the other nations, right? So you can go to Amos chapter 3. This is Amos 3 and 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So the Lord only dealing with the nation of Israel. That is it. Okay? So when he's talking about they preach to the Jew and also to the Gentile, right? And to the Gentile, he's talking about, those Israelite foreigners, right? Romans 1, right? Where he says to the Greek. Now look, when you look at it in the NLT, it says Gentile, right? It says Gentile. You see? Which is the universal word. You have to understand that when it says to the Greek, it goes to the Gentile, it's talking about Israelite foreigners. All right, that Greek right there is talking about Israelite foreigners. Let's see, Helen, right? And we got that, So, Lord willing, this is edifying. Give our praise, honor, and glory to you. How about Shem Yahweh Shai B'Shem Kakadash. Shalom.